All right. Hello, everyone. I hope everything works. Yeah, my name is Katja here, but actually my name is Gundars. I will see if I can change my name in a moment. But we will start shortly. It is about 6 to 7 minutes till the beginning, and while we are waiting for others to join, I will a bit later on explain how all this GoToWebinar thing works, and where you can ask questions and do all the comments and all the other necessary stuff. Okay, in a moment I will turn off the sound and the camera in order to make some adjustments. Okay, it's much better. Let me first check. Okay, I will mute myself for about 2 minutes, and then I will start explaining on what's going on and happening, and let's say some of the logistical stuff. But feel free to take your morning coffee, evening drink, or afternoon snack, depending on which place of the world you are located in currently. And we will start in about 6 minutes. Okay, everyone, I hope you hear me. Quickly, I open the questions panel on. Yeah, first of all, somewhere, depending on how do you see me, either this side or this side, but there's a panel on side of your screen, and there should be a questions box or something like that. Yeah, Thomas is already writing me. Hi, Gundars. Yeah, hi, Thomas. You can write questions, and please kind of like write if you see and hear me clearly, so that I can confirm that you are actually seeing and hearing me. Yes. Okay. Wonderful. Yeah, you're seeing. Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. So apparently you see me. Okay, 3 minutes till we start. Quickly explaining how this works and how this goes. So essentially, you should be able to see the screen. We will switch to the keynote speakers and other speakers as well, and you will be able to see their presentations. For some people, we also have backup videos just in case, or if they cannot make to this presentation. And you can, yet again, on the side, you can find a questions panel where you can write everything in, just in case something goes wrong. Either sound disappears or video disappears, or suddenly we disappear for some reason. I don't know what, but we might do that. Internet connections might not be that reliable sometimes. Just write in the chat box, and we will be always up to date and see what's happening, just in case. And I see all the questions. Yeah, we see Thomas, we see Fonga, we see Jacob, Said, Milosh, Mislav, Ivana. Yeah, people are joining in. We have more than 100 people registered for this session, and I see that already 67 of you are online. Let's wait for another 2 minutes, and then I think we will be able to start our opening ceremony. Please turn off your mobile phones, as usually in the public events, so that you don't bother anyone. For you, yep, Neil, I see you. When you will have the presentation, I will turn you on as a speaker. Please be prepared. We will have first keynote speakers as well. So let's wait for another 2 minutes. I will have my morning drink. It's kind of like, oh, maybe this morning, it's like afternoon already here in Prague, in Czech Republic. As you might have noticed, all the core teams, the core team is the only team that's cheating in this competition, kind of like. We are not online. We are actually present and seeing each other and doing all the stuff. And we are here in the beautiful city of Prague in Czech Republic. So all the keynote speakers, not the keynote speakers, but all the core team members are indeed in here. You can see the Facebook Live video I just made like an hour ago, Facebook Live video on how everything looks like in here. So, okay, in a moment I will put myself on mute, but you will be able to see me because I have to have a drink. Okay, before we quickly start, let me check if all the important people are online. So Neil, the first keynote speaker, is online. Thank you, Neil, for joining. You will be put on the screen a bit later. We have Elena. Elena will also give a small speech, but she's kind of like more than online. She's essentially beside me. You cannot appear in the camera. Yeah. And yeah, let me check. Yeah, Bernie is also here, the head of the jury. Excellent. So Bernie, I will give you the microphone to you as well a bit later on. And let me see who else is here. Yep. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, let's wait for 1 minute, and then I will switch on my presentation, and we will start the action. So 1 more minute, and the GeCCo competition will officially start. Down. Okay, 50, 59, 49, 59, 49, 39. I'm counting seconds. Yeah. All right. Let me do the final check. So, for those who have just joined in, on the side of the panel, on the side you must see a panel where there's the question box. So, just in case there are some kind of like questions or something's wrong, please write it there. We will be able to see that and just adjust all the things if some things go wrong, so that we can make sure everything is just fine. All right. Are we ready to start? I think we are ready. Okay, let me turn on my screen. It should work like this. Let me check. I have another screen actually for checking here. Yes, it works. And let's go to the presentation. So at this point on the screen, you should be able to see me somewhere on the screen and the presentation. And I also have everything else on the screen as well. All right, everyone. This is it. Welcome to the Global eCollaboration Competition 2017. My name is Gundars. Feel free to, those who have not yet joined, feel free to join to this opening ceremony as well. And yeah, my name is Gundars. I come from Jankru, Latvia. I'm now currently in Prague, in Czech Republic, together with all the core team members, and I will be the master of ceremony for at least this session. So I will be a bit entertaining you during the next half an hour. Opening ceremony is for having like all the speeches from all the important people, and also kind of like explaining what can you expect as a participants from this competition, and what all the other guests can like expect from the competition in general. Because these public events are available for everyone. If you want to see any of the keynote speakers, feel free to join and enjoy the GeCCo competition. I would like to quickly mention the numbers. How the GeCCo competition this year looks like. We have 20 countries and in total 120 participants. So quite a lot, more than 100 participants. And for two full days, essentially 24 hours, so I would say 2 days, all the participants will solve one project management case study. We have the participants from 4 continents. So we are kind of, let's say, truly international competition. And this is all organized by 7 wonderful and also international core team members. But the most important thing here for you to understand, and especially for participants to kind of like see and be aware of, that there are 20 teams. So competition is fierce. And you should work pretty hard for the main prize, which is essentially free IPMA level D certification and free ticket to the Global Juncker Workshop the next time it happens. So 20 teams, fierce competition, 24 hours. Are you ready? I hope you are. Quickly mentioning our truly international core team. These are 7 people from different countries. Yep. At one point or another, you either have met them or have been in touch with them, but here you can see them on the screen. So, and yeah, the thing is that we are all already here, like present in Prague. So this is the only team who is like, let's say, as I said, cheating a bit in this competition. We are not we're not today a virtual team. We're actually a real team together, doing all the things. Quickly going through what's planned. What does the agenda look like, and what can anyone expect from these 24 hours starting from now? The agenda is published on the website. I will give the links to the website as well later on. But the program for the Global eCollaboration competition will look like this. All the times are mentioned in like this general time zone, which is London, UK. And depending on which side of the world are you located in, the times might differ. So essentially now we're having an opening ceremony with greetings from the core team and different welcome speeches. After that, we will have our first keynote, which is Neil, a lead bidder. You don't want to miss that as well. After the keynote speaker, we will have a quick words from the head of the jury, Bernard Heidecker. He will give a greeting as well, and we will explain you different things what you should take into account while participating in the competition. So all the instructions will follow later. This opening ceremony should not take more than 40 minutes. We'll see how it goes. After that, you have 6 hours to work, and the teams do their first submission at 6 p.m. London time. Then we will have another keynote, which is John Paris Pantavokis. And if you have any questions, if the participants will have any questions up until this point, we will also, after that keynote, we will have a questions and answers session live. We as an organizer, we will be able here to answer your questions if you have some, if you have any up until 6 p.m. So if you have any questions during those first 6 hours of the competition, please save them till the questions and answers session, and we will be able to answer them live. Next one. So then we are working for another 6 hours, and then we reach the November already 12th. The next day, the midnight, we will have the second submission and the midnight toast with the core team. The whole core team will be online. We will be having our, let's say, midnight drink, celebrating the halfway through the competition, but we also invite you to get a drink of your choice. And if you want, we will encourage participants to come online, to switch on the cameras, and also give a toast to everyone else. So you will feel free to do that and prepare for the midnight toast as well with your drink of the choice and the possibility to come online and greet, say hello to everyone. After that, hard work during the night or during the day, depending on which side of the world are you located in. The third submission comes at 6 a.m. the next day, and we will have a quick morning coffee. We will kind of like check in and see how are you doing. Also, some possibilities to answer some questions about the last 6 hours of the competition. And tomorrow at 12 noon, we are having the final submission. We will have a final keynote, Rafael Albergarias, and after that we will have the closing of the competition with the closing speech from Katya, our project manager, and giving some instructions about the next steps, what will happen next. Quick information for every live session, every of these live sessions, we have 5 of them, you have to register separately. Lots of people have already done that, we have seen that, but if you want to participate or see any of the following keynotes in the first submission, in the last submission, or participate in the events in between, you have to register for every single event, and all the information will be sent to you. All the links to join these sessions will be sent to you to your email you used to register for that. But in order to make it easier, just go to find the registration links. Just go to the bcom.pm/GeCCo/live and look for the red buttons in the program, so you can push the red buttons and register for every single session. Before we start with the official speeches, quick word to our supporters and sponsors. Of course, really big thank you to IPMA Young Crew and IPMA community in general for making sure and providing all the resources to make GeCCo a reality and make this wonderful event possible. Also, we want to thank our other sponsors that are providing wonderful prizes. You will get information about prizes in your emails and later on. But we say big thank you to Fungal Consulting, PM World Library, Penny Poland with her book Virtual Leadership, Hassan Osman with his wonderful training on virtual teams, and Roland Gareis Consulting for providing the book Happy Project as the prize. So thank you to the sponsors, and they will give you wonderful prizes. All the current information is available on the website, so please note this link down, write it down like everywhere, and visit this link really often, because all the current information will be published there, bcom.pm/GeCCo/live. Before we go to the official speeches, let me introduce quickly the keynote speakers. We will have 3 keynote speakers during this live event, during these 24 hours. It will be Neil Leadbetter, John Paris Pantovokis, and Rafael Albergarias. They have prepared already wonderful and fantastic topics about project management, so make sure you don't want to miss them. And if there are any friends who want to join and see them, friends are also welcome to register for these live sessions and join and see the keynote speakers. All right, and now we are moving forward to our official speeches. And first, I would ask to join Alena, our project owner of the GeCCo, and to say her words on the GeCCo. And Alena, can you come in?
Hello. I'm happy that GeCCo is happening again for 6th time in his history, because when we started it in 2010 with Niklas Bain, who is right now elected to be chairman of Young Crew Management Board, we didn't know whether this project will be still such a great project for everyone to join. And it is also a pleasure to tell you that when we started it in 2010, when the first edition happened, there were only 60 participants. And right now, after 6 years, we had doubled that number to 120. I would like to thank you all that you take the courage to take a part in it, and I can guarantee you that you will experience a lot of fun, you will enjoy it, you will learn a lot, because we try to find the best keynotes for you that will provide you all the knowledge that you need in order to succeed in a competition. And I hope that you will enjoy the case study. This time I was preparing it for you as well, so I was not just a project owner, I was also being more involved this year. And yes, I hope that you will find your friends for life and that you will enjoy the experience and probably join the team next year for preparation of the 7th edition of Global eCollaboration competition. And now I would like to get back to Gundars.
Okay, wonderful. We are slowly moving forward. Let me check if our chairman of the Young Management Board, Mladen, is online. And we will ask Mladen to give a speech. Yeah, Mladen is here. Mladen, in a moment, I will make you as the presenter. Down. You should be able to see. Mladen, do you hear us? Mladen, Mladen, unmute yourself if it's possible, because you're now muted.
Hello,
yeah, Mladen,
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great.
Are you going to present something, or you're saying?
No, I'm just, actually I'm in a meeting, so I just got up and I just want to say a couple of sentences of warm welcome. I've heard your speech, and Elena, I really want to thank the organizing team, especially you, Gundars, for being always there for the team, for GeCCo, for IPMA. Also Elena and Nicholas, who had started the competition 7 years ago. I remember them walking around with cards and pushing their ideas forward within the Council of Delegates of IPMA. They looked really young and really new, but they knew how to fight for their ideas. And I think the both of them should represent a role model for the other guys who are now joining IPMA. I also started IPMA almost 15 years ago, and from my own experience, I can tell you that IPMA is one of the best places to show the best of you, to give the best of you, and to start your project management journey. So I'm stepping out of Young Crew. Nicholas is succeeding my role. He will be the new president of Young Crew 2018 to 2020. And from my perspective, from my position, I can really give you the most warmest welcome to project management world in IPMA. So I'm really proud of GeCCo this year. It's what I've heard from Josipa. It's 20 teams, right? It's we have a lot of people coming from Latin America. So I would like to greet especially the newcomers from Latin America. I know from Mexico. Mexico is providing 13 contestants. So welcome to them all. So, you know, the flags are flying, the blue balloons are ready for release, and I'm sure you will concur, and I wish you all a really nice welcome to this competition, and may the best team win. Thank you, goodness.
Thank you, Mladen. Okay, I will now unmute you. Yep, and switch back to myself. So I am now presenting. So you should be able now to see my screen as well. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was Mladen, the chairman of the Young Crew Management Board. And thank you, Mladen. And we are now slowly but surely moving forward. And I think it's time for the first keynote speaker. So Neil Leadbetter. Neil, I will make you now as a presenter in a moment. Yeah, Neil. Moment, yeah. Wait. Neil. Neil, make a presenter. So Neil, turn on your camera, and you should be also able to turn on your presentation as well, and unmute yourself. Neil, we are waiting for you to unmute yourself and turn on your camera. Okay, we see the screen.
There we go.
Yes. Wonderful. I can see you, both your screen and yourself.
Excellent. Now, just let me get the screen right, shall we? Let's see if I can.
Yeah. Okay.
So, can you still see me and the screen, or just the screen?
Yeah, we see both you and the screen. So
okay.
It is not. It is okay if you kind of like if you are also visible and both the presentation and yourself.
Yeah, I can't actually see myself, but we'll go on anyway.
Yeah. But we are making sure that everything works here, kind of like. So the stage is yours, and Neil, welcome. I will mute myself and turn on the camera, but I will be here. Yeah, just in case.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. So thanks everybody. It's really great to be here. Really appreciate this opportunity to speak to you all, particularly at the start of this 24-hour challenge that you're all going to be working on. When I was thinking about what I was going to say today, I thought, well, maybe it's just an opportunity for me to share a few simple things that I've actually learned and still consider really important over the time that I've been doing project leadership and project management. And I really want to focus on the simple, and I also want to focus on the change. And I set this question, I guess, to change or not to change, is that the question, as we begin to explore projects. Now, I'm not going to leave us in suspense. I'm actually going to answer that question now, and I don't think it is the question at all, actually. And why not? I think it's clear for all of us that every project is intending to change something. That's why projects came about. That's why we do projects. That's what our business is. Actually, we're looking for change. We're change agents in a big way. There are, of course, we are also intending not to change things as well. As an example, I'm working on a large IT implementation at the moment. And it's really important that we understand what it is that's not going to change for the users, as well as what is going to change for the users. Because sometimes as project teams, we can get really enmeshed in all the things that we're trying to change and forget that actually we need to leave some things, and we're leaving some things as they are. And that's important, particularly for users to understand. And of course, every project has its unintended consequences and changes. And that is something we just have to really keep an eye on from a project management perspective. So I hope that sort of answered the question, but what are these changes that I'm talking about? And I think the most obvious ones, of course, are changes that are outcomes of a project. And we all think about those. We have the problem we're trying to solve, or the question we're trying to answer, and then what are the changes associated with being able to answer that. But I think there are other changes that we really need to consider as we're working in projects and being project teams and project leaders. And I think in some ways they're just as key as those outcomes. And these are around the changes that need to occur within a project team as a project develops. And they're also the changes that we intend for those that are impacted and involved, whether that be the project team, those impacted by our projects, or indeed those that think they're not impacted by our projects. And I take stakeholders as a group here. So I come across quite a lot of senior stakeholders who somehow think that there's no intention for them to have to change as we go through projects, but indeed in sometimes there's some very vivid changes that they need to take on board. So I think as project leaders and project team members, we need to remain really aware of all this this holistic view of change in our projects, and it's something that I've certainly learned over the years that I've been working. Now, I guess I could end the presentation there and we could move on, but in fact I've got a little bit more time, so I'd just like to focus on a couple of things. One is on this outcomes of the project, and the other one is on within and for the project team. So this is a picture of an old laboratory complex in the USA. I was working on this project about 5 or 6 years ago now. this was completely outdated. It needed replacing, and in fact what we did was we replaced it with this, which is a very high spec, cutting edge asset, physical asset for doing research work in, and it's probably the most cutting edge research complex for agricultural research in the world at the moment. So why am I talking about this? It looks, doesn't it, as though the project has been completed and was really successful, and indeed it was. I was part of the supervisory board for this, and we realized about 2/3 of the way through the build that actually there was a lot of dissatisfaction in the leadership of the location with this particular project and how it was working. Now, what was really interesting was that we had a very experienced project leader, we had a very experienced project team, and yet there were things that were really not working for those people who were going to be using the facility. So we went in and we did a diagnostic, very open, which I completely believe in. I think as we're exploring what things are going wrong, we need to be really open in the way that we work and operate. And what we discovered was that although things had started off well in terms of ensuring that there was a lot of connection with the users and how they were going to work, and we were looking at new ways of collaboration, and that whole side of the changes that were required. As the project had gone on, the project team had actually focused more and more on the technology and the build, and they'd had some challenges with the build, and really their focus had drifted. And it was not so difficult to bring it back to being holistic. But this was one project, whereas if we hadn't caught that and we hadn't been able to enable the project team to go back to seeing the changes as a holistic view, I think we would have been in a very difficult situation when it came to truly implement the working of this particular asset. And so I guess what I'm saying is, I think as project teams, we just need to be able to step back and look at the whole from the changes that we're implementing. And I think there, for me, there are two areas. There's what I would call the tangible, or those things that are really concrete, and they're often visible, they're often easily measurable, they're often physical asset, they're often processes, and they tend to come in this groupings of technology or structure or process. Could be organizational structure as well. And then there are the intangibles, or those things that are not so concrete. I think they're changes in relationships, changes in how we collaborate, changes in culture that we're actually trying to look for, and changes in ways of working. And there will be other things in there. And I don't think it matters how big or how small the project is. These things have to be in balance. So if I take a very small project, let's just say that I want to redesign my bedroom. I may want some new furniture. I may have to go and buy that. So that's the tangible, the visible. I may be moving furniture from one side of the room to the other. But there's intangibles. There's something about how I'm going to feel about that room. What sort of feelings do I want to have? What are the changes I want to have compared with what it was before? And so even in those sorts of small projects, this balance is really critical, I think. And this circle, this pizza, if you like, just I use it because it allows me to look at that left-hand side from an individual perspective. So if we're looking at individuals, or from a change in the team perspective, or a change at the organizational culture level maybe, we have 6 pizza pieces, and it just allows us to balance this thing up. Often that left-hand side is just bundled under people. But my learning is that we really have to take account of both of those sides of that pizza. And it's really key. And I think in the next 24 hours, how you balance those needs, those changes, and how you deliver a project that actually balances those changes is going to be really critical to how good the outcome is for you. So that's something about the project. What about changes in a project team? So in my view, and in all our views, of course, here, project teams both lead and model as well as manage. So we're leading others through change, and we need to be able to model that in ourselves and consider how we're actually changing in the way that we work. And I think this is particularly important when we're on a project. So you're going to be on a project for the next 24 hours. How are you considering the ways that you work and change that way of working to make it even better as you go through, so you come out with a better outcome? And I think a lot of that is to do with how we can continuously work on our relationships in our project teams, whether we be face-to-face or whether we be virtual. How do we, on a day-to-day basis, on a week-by-week basis, continue to think about how we're really working on those relationships? Now, I can make things really, really complicated. It's one of my wonderful traits, and my family will tell you that I can, go through and have a list of things that we sort of need to do, and I can do exactly the same in the project area. So if I'm working or leading a project team, I can often come up with easily 15 things that we need to work on. But I guess particularly over the last 7 or 8 years, I've been working to look at how we can focus on some simple things. How can we focus on the really important things that allow us not only to be competent at what we do, but actually leads to mastery? And I would just like to suggest a few things that I think that simple things that we could consider as project teams. They're things we do every day in some form or fashion. And I think they're so critical, and I don't think we spend enough time actually focusing on them. So we speak to each other every day. How do we do that? Are we doing that really well, or are we not doing it so well? We listen to each other every day. Are we doing it well, or are we not doing it so well? And critically, we make decisions together as a project team. In fact, it's our bread and butter, isn't it? We come together to make decisions all the time. How are we doing that? Are we doing it well, or are we not doing it so well? So just a few thoughts on each of these. So speaking together. There are different types of speaking. I've been in project team meetings where people are literally shouting at one another. I'm not sure that's a very valuable way of speaking with each other. I've also been in project team meetings where there's a lot of speaking going on, but it's actually all from one person, and unfortunately often the project leader. So how can we speak? How individually can we learn to speak with the intention of helping ourselves to move forward with the topic, the issue, whatever it is that we're talking about? How can we help it to move forward? And how can we help others to understand our assumptions behind what we're saying? One of the great things about the teams you've got around the table today, and a lot of global teams, are that there's a huge diversity. We're often from different functions, we're often from different countries, we're often from different cultures, have different languages, we have different competencies, and we certainly have different experiences. And we bring all that to bear on our projects, and we bring all that to bear in terms of that diversity to be able to be creative and think together in terms of how we can move our projects forward. And if I can help others to understand where I'm coming from, if I'm making a proposal, if I'm putting an idea forward, that just allows us to build and move forward much more quickly and much more efficiently than if the way that I speak actually puts up a defensive barrier with other people. And I guess on another thing, there's something around beware of speaking too much. I talked about project leaders speaking too much just a few moments ago. But actually, how self-aware are we? If we have a 10-minute meeting, and sometimes 10-minute project meetings can be really, really valuable, and there are 5 of us, that's only 2 minutes each speaking time. So if I take up 4 minutes, that's actually reducing the amount of time that others have got to speak. How thoughtful are we about the speaking time that we use? And then how do we speak to make it safe for people to challenge us and to build on what we're saying? the purpose of a project team is to build things. We're building something together. We're building that project and we're taking it forward. How do we make it safe for other people in the project team to be able to challenge our thinking and to build on it and take it forward? So that's some things around speaking that I think, you know, this simple thing that we do every day, speaking to each other, are we thoughtful about how we do it? And then deepening the listening. There are different ways that we listen. So we all know this one, out of the room. Yes, I'm appearing to listen, but actually I'm not with the meeting at all. I'm actually in my head and I'm thinking about what I'm going to have for breakfast tomorrow, or what am I going to say in the next meeting because it's a bit more important than this one. So I'm out of the room. And on virtual, when we're working virtually, we go on mute because actually that's really quite helpful. But actually it's easier to be out of the room then, and sometimes you can physically be out of the room and nobody will notice. Waiting to reload. So I'm listening, but all I'm doing is thinking in my head about how I'm going to answer what you just said, how I'm going to rebut what it is that you just said. There before you. In this virtual world today, around this table, the 120 odd people around this table, we're all very bright people. And when we hear something, we often jump to conclusions. So we hear the first few words and then we jump to the conclusion of what the person's going to say, and we're already thinking about the answer. So how do we actually listen for understanding? How do we listen deeply into what the other person is saying? It will help us to move things forward in a creative way. And then decision making together. I know you've had the opportunity to do some pre-work, but one of the and I wonder whether you've had the opportunity to talk about a simple process for making decisions together. And what I see when I'm working with project teams often, and my own project teams as well, and particularly those that have been together for a while, is that we get comfortable with one another, actually. And we think we know what our decision-making process is, but actually it's degraded over time, and we're not actually as good as we think we are. Or there's a complicated process in place. How do we get to something that's really simple and concise and that we can use repeatedly, and we can use it with discipline? And how do we know what it is? What is the decision we're really trying to make? How do we know whether people are going to go with that decision, or whether actually they're not, or they're ambivalent about that decision? And how do we find out around the table, particularly in the virtual world? How do we find out why people are not interested in making that decision, or the answer to that decision, or saying yes to that decision, or no, in fact? And then we can discuss it again. But we can end up going round and round in circles for this. So the other key thing here is the project leadership piece. So as a project leader, after this has gone on for a little while, how do you step in and say, right, we've heard from everybody, we're not making a unanimous decision, and actually now this is the decision that I'm making. But have you as a team agreed that that's the process and the simple process that you're going to take? So I guess what I've tried to just give today is some of my thoughts from the experiences I've had around simplicity and the changes we need to see as we go through projects. A simple way of holding the whole of the project in terms of the different intangible and tangible things that we're actually working on in a project. And also the simple disciplines of how we work together. How do we speak together? How do we listen together? And how do we make decisions together? And I guess it only just leaves me to wish you all good fortune over the next 24 hours. And I know it's going to be challenging, and I know it's going to be tiring, but I do encourage, as was said before, have great fun and have a few laughs along the way. So thank you very much indeed.
All right, I'm coming back. Thank you, Neil. Now let's give 2 to 3 minutes for some questions. If you have any questions, feel free to use the panel on your side and ask questions. I can see all of them, and I can ask them Neil directly. My question would be just like an interesting one. I know that climate change, although it's a really interesting topic, and I really like that as well, you kind of like get to the people that do not want to change all the time, I would say. And can you give me like a simple killer argument for someone to tell why he or she should change?
So your language is really interesting. So you use the word, we need to tell people that they should or shouldn't change. Actually, we can't change other people. The only person who can change themselves is the person. So I think what we have to do is to find ways to work with people. People are not actually as fearful of change as we think. What they don't like being done is told that they have to change. So how do we involve people? How do we really involve people in the changes that are going on? So how do we involve users properly? How do we help them solve the issues that they've got? How do we really bring them in to the changes that are going on? There will always be people who are looking to find a way to keep doing what they're always doing, but as you get on in the project and you really work with people, I think you just have to work and involve people in that change. Help them to help you make the change is where I would be. And new things will come out of it too. They'll find ideas that you didn't know anything about, that's for sure.
All right, excellent, thank you. Okay, let's give 30 seconds for one more question. Okay, we have one question. Let me check it. Victor, I'm not sure if this question goes here, but the question goes like that. How do we work with people you do not know exactly and have nothing in common with? Can you provide an answer with that?
So I'll do some imagining here. So I guess there's, if you're working on a virtual team maybe, or you've been put on a team with somebody else that you don't know, and you find difficulty in working with them. I think it is more of a challenge when we're working virtually. I think we have to put in some process as project leaders to be able to start bringing the teams together. I think we can start by having conversations with each individual team member. I think we need to begin to understand where people are coming from. I think it's really important to understand as a project leader how your project team's getting on with one another. We will always come across people that we don't like working with. I think we have to be able to have a conversation which says, well, we are working together, how are we going to make this work best? And for me, it's also, can we identify the capability or the what it is that people are really bringing to the table that can help us work together. Yeah, it's particularly in a virtual environment, it's not so easy. But I think that one can work at it specifically from a project leader perspective and help out in that way.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, we will continue forward. So thank you, Neil. I will now take you off the presentation and feel free to mute yourself as well, or I can do that from here. So we are moving forward. I will make now myself as a presenter in a moment. So, yeah, you should now be able to see that, and you should be able to see my presentation. And Neil, I am taking you off. Thank you. All right, now you should be able to see the screen and my screen and myself. Okay, thank you, Neil, for the keynote. And we are now moving forward, and I would like to invite Bernard Heidecker to come online. I will now, Bernard, make you as the presenter in a moment for you, so you can deliver a quick speech from the jury. In a moment. Bernard, you should be a presenter now. Please turn on the microphone, and if you have anything to present, also turn on your screen. Bernard, I see that. Please turn on the microphone. Yeah, we see the screen of you, Bernard, but okay, we should hear you.
Can you see me?
I see your screen. I don't see yourself. You can turn on the camera as well somewhere.
Let's see how I turn on the camera.
There's a button, green button up in the panel somewhere that shows camera.
I can't see the camera. Perhaps it's because I'm on my phone.
Yeah, then unfortunately I think you won't be able to turn on the camera, I think.
Oh,
then,
that's sad, but okay.
Okay.
If you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you definitely.
Welcome. Good morning, GeCCo. Good night, GeCCo. Good evening or good afternoon, whatever the case may be. It is really a pleasure to kickstart GeCCo. We have done this for the past 8 years, and if we think about an expedition to Everest, and I ask you, what is the most important thing about this expedition? One might say, oh, climbing to the top, reaching the summit. Well, yes, it is, and it might be, but you have to think that when you reach the top, you have 30 seconds to look around and then go down. What is more important is the trip, the sharing with your team, helping each other, making the journey as comfortable as possible for everyone on the team, and making it successful for everyone. When we think about projects, delivery is not the most important thing. It is results. And a big part of the results is the team satisfaction. When you get a certification, well, projects start with people and end with people. And when you get a certification, it's usually about me. You do the assessment, do the whole motion, and get your certificate, and then you can hang it on your wall. But what happens after you get the certification? That's reaching the summit, actually. But at IPMA, we believe in results. Results because whenever a project fails, capital destruction takes place. Successful projects deliver wealth and well-being. And it is important to have successful projects to move our world forward. We need to focus on the team also. We need to focus on developing our competences. GeCCo plays a very important part in developing our competences, because we, after we get our certification, need to close the gap about what I accomplished during or before the certification, and we need to sharpen the saw. And we do this participating in these competitions. We do this by attending workshops. We do this by attending our world congresses. And we do this by meeting people. So take good advantage of GeCCo, because it is an outstanding opportunity not only to meet other people that can lend you a hand when you have a question or when you need to solve a problem, but it is a way also to understand other cultures that will give you a better sense, more sensitivity about how to listen and how to change in order to produce these results. So enjoy your competition, enjoy your team, really do your best, and you will outperform yourself. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bernie. Now you can mute yourself. I will mute you. Yep. Okay, I could not agree more with Bernard. Bernard Heidegger, the head of the jury. I can inform that we have 13 jury members, so none of your submissions will go past unnoticed. So jury members are ready to work hard in order to assess all your submissions, all the results of the case studies. Okay, I will make myself as a presenter now, and you should be able to screen mine now again. And I just received really interesting information that the case studies and all your tasks are already been sent to the emails of the participants. So you, from this point of view, you can already try to access your email and see the task you have to do. The case study is already there and all the necessary information as well. But to quickly go forward, I will explain some of the things that, some important information about the GeCCo and what's happening next. All right. Now, attention to my presentation. All right, GeCCo itself as a competition, that's the one thing of all this GeCCo experience. There are also some contests included in this competition. So you can, let's say, there are many chances to get more prizes for you as well, not only the ones for the GeCCo itself. And one of the contests, which is, let's say, more like a tradition already, is the most active team on social media. So if you, as a team, you feel that you can be really creative, really active, and post a lot of interesting content on social media, this is a contest for you. We invite actually all the teams to participate in that. And what you have to do. First, you have to create at least 5 pieces of content with your team during the competition. It might be different kinds of contests. The more variety of content, the better. We will be not only assessing the amount of the posts, but also the variety of them. So you can create different collages, different pictures, different screenshots, maybe even videos, memes, GIF animations. Just use your imagination to create up the content and post it on social media, publish them on Facebook, and tag, of course, the GeCCo page, Global eCollaboration Competition page, and add also a hashtag of your team name and team number. So and make sure that the post is public so that we can access and see that from the GeCCo page, so that we can see that you have tagged everything and did that. And during the competition, we'll be gathering all together and then counting and seeing which might be the best team, and the best team will be awarded during the awards ceremony. Yes, GeCCo has a hashtag. Use either the hashtag GeCCo or hashtag GeCCoYC, like GeCCo Young Crew, in short. So you can also use the GeCCo hashtag, hashtag GeCCo or hashtag GeCCoYC. We'll be following that as well. Okay, this is one thing. Secondly, you had to do your pre-case studies, and you kind of like there actually will be a voting on the best pre-case study, and every single team will receive, let's say, a questionnaire, and we will ask to submit your best to tell which is your which pre-case studies are your pre-case studies are your favorites. You will be as a team. There will be a possibility for you to vote as a team for three best pre-case studies, but you cannot vote for your own team, of course. So we will ask all the other teams to assess your pre-case study, and then we will come to the best pre-case study as well. Please be informed and note down this website, become.pm/GeCCo/live. All the registration links for the live sessions are there. All the current information will be published there. All the information about keynote speakers is there. So visit this site frequently and see what's happening. We will also be publishing information on Facebook as well, and kind of like. Lots of current information will be published both on the GeCCo Facebook page and the GeCCo Facebook event. The question about Instagram, yes, you can use Instagram. We will try to check that also as well for your submissions. GeCCo is also on Instagram. There is a GeCCo account on Instagram as well. You can check for that. Yeah. Not soon, but you should have already been received the case study. In case you haven't received that, write an email to us or use currently during this opening ceremony the questions box. We will make sure that you receive all the information regarding the case study in your email. And this is the official email where you can submit, where you can write all your questions, or if anything happens during the competition, use this email, gecco.case@gmail.com, in order to communicate with the organizers regarding different issues about the competition or your team, or if anything goes wrong, just kind of like write us. So this is the official email address for for communicating with organizers. Quick information before you can jump into your work. GoToWebinar, for these live sessions, GoToWebinar allows also to join you via phone through via some so-called call-in. But we highly do not recommend it because it's an international call and you will be charged accordingly. Please make sure that if GoToWebinar asks you to do a phone call, please, we do not highly recommend you to do that. Join these live sessions via internet, via app, or best on the PC. And also, please be informed that photo and video content will be created, and it may be published during the competition in the official channels of the GeCCo and IPMA Young Crew. And also, we invite you to record the great moments of your work. Kind of like make a screenshots, make some kind of like interesting art pieces, maybe all the things together virtually, and record all of these things. And after the competition, we will invite teams to make it with the team video. Yeah, kind of like you would have to submit also team video of your work. So please feel free to record every single great moment and great work, great things that happened during these 24 hours with your team. All right, this is it. We are officially closing the opening ceremony, and yes, you should have received all the information on the email. You can start your work now. And see you after 6 hours. No, it's even less than 6 hours for the next session. It will be questions and answer session, and of course the keynote speaker. So good luck, everyone. You can start your work, and see you later on. Don't forget to register for the next live sessions as well, and visit the webpage GeCCo, not GeCCo, become.pm/GeCCo/live for all the current updates. Okay, see you later. I wish you good luck, and bye-bye.